Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. So today we're going to be exploring this awesome creation called Slither.io, and Slither.io is this smash hit game that everyone's been playing lately. It's a really cool concept. They took the old version of Snake and they gave like this new feel to it, where you can essentially take over other snakes with your speed and length, and just overall, Slither's just a really fun game. You can get a lot of things done here. All right, so yeah, first things first is going to be gaining mass, and from there you can definitely start circling people. And once you start circling people, you can like completely take over the map by doing that. Yeah, this game is actually one of the world's most downloaded games, and it's probably accumulated the owner a serious amount of money. This guy's probably really well off, probably good for the rest of his life because of this game. Everyone's been playing it, and it gives people something to do literally anywhere they go, from their phones to their computers. It's quite awesome, and another cool thing that I've noticed that's been taken off like wildfire is the fact that Pokemon Go is literally everywhere. You can go anywhere and just yell it, and people will respond to you in a positive way. That's one of the coolest things I've noticed about it. But other than that, there are people just not even paying attention to where they're going, and they're oh, I just got an awesome kill. Yeah, yeah, and actually they're just walking around the city. Like I've noticed just people walking around the city at like random hours of the night looking for Pokemon. I mean, it's everywhere, from like the beach to like a gym to just anywhere. And it goes to show that augmented reality is the future of technology. It's the progression, logical progression of like camera interface to like full blown games, and everything in between. It's augmented reality, I believe, is going to be the one of the biggest things in our generation, as it's become cheaper and cheaper through the technology evolved in the glasses that I got to see when I went to visit the AWE 2016 event of Augmented Reality World Expo, and from there I got to test like Meta glasses and the latest HTC Vive. Just so many cool new radically disruptive technologies that are going to change the way we perceive and play not only games, but like just how we run our lifestyle in general. It's a really fascinating topic, honestly, because it's going to bring so much more development within the software field. We're going to be able to create anything we want and have it visibly projected right in front of us, and share these digital assets or digital just media, art, anything for the world to see on the fly, essentially. And that's going to be one of my favorite things to do, I think, as the future comes along. Wow, that was incredible. That was a double. I did not expect that. But yeah, from these type of developments, I can assure that the future of technology is rapidly progressing. It's almost inevitable to see that it's gonna take over our lives even more so than it already has, since it's quite reasonable to say that we spend the majority of our lives, the millennial generation, interacting with other people through the internet, and this it gives you a reassurance of the fact that it's possible to yeah, I just got taken out. It's possible to communicate at any point in time with anyone across the entire world, and that's just an incredible concept. It gives people the leverage to distribute and spread ideas faster today than at any point in time in history. But it doesn't end there. It's just going to keep on going, getting faster. So you're going to be able to, in a way, communicate your conscious thoughts almost instantly to the rest of the world. And this brings up the notion that all ideas compete. When you break it down, I mean, currency is like an idea for value to, incentivize value within papers. And then there are these things called cryptocurrency or bitcoins or Ethereum, and it goes on and on. And essentially what these are distributed public ledgers across the world of computing. So basically your computer upholds a public ledger embedded within this technology called a blockchain, which is like a giant decentralized receipt. So it's like this huge receipt of all the transactions ever, and you download them onto your computer. And from there, you can actively send transactions and even like mine this cryptocurrency, which is such a cool concept. I mean, money has now been developed into software code, and software code itself is essentially an idea. So we're really coming towards the development that ideas are of the essence the most important things that we can create, and it will ultimately stand the test of time that all ideas will compete. And from there we can progress into the notions that it's all about execution. How well can you effectively execute your idea? And this brings me to the point of startups. I mean, I've tried a couple startups, and they're not as vastly successful as I thought they would be. And the whole reason is it's a massive workload, and you have to choose specifically to be better at one thing than anybody else in your given field and continuously maintain and uphold that. For example, I know this company I worked for a short period of time called ShareMelon, and they've got this awesome thing going on where basically they're manufacturing with a 3D printer a whole assortment of ceramic plates, cups, all this stuff, and they're doing quite well because I mean they're adopting newer technologies and always crowdsourcing their work. So they're hiring interns and doing this type of thing to keep the business going even without a paycheck. So it's a really unique concept where you can actually hire people to do the work for you and like give them the experience they want to have in return. So it's really about the amount of value you can give to people, and the more value you can ever give to a person, the greater they will, perceive your net worth as well. So in return, it's like you must give to receive, and the content you release about yourself, about your life, about the things you do, how you do them, specifically how you do them, is one of the most important things you can provide. Your method of execution and giving people the ability to actively reinforce their lifestyles and practice whatever works for them. And it's like, if you can effectively create a solution that gives a lot of people value, I mean, you're helping the world become a better place. And from software to like a welder to every job in between, the more people you can help out by doing your job, the more change you're creating in this world. So, yeah, excuse me. But, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interesting things to say about our generation. We have grown to the point of just exponential development within so many of our fields. And I feel like we have yet to address education. Our educational systems are still very outdated. I mean, we're continuously addressing them, but I don't believe in the right way. I feel education should be an immersive experience, like when you're outside playing recess. I feel like you're like in elementary school and in middle school and stuff like that, you're learning more during those times than you are at any other point during the day, because your body's fully engaged, your mind's fully engaged. You can put forth the ideas you want to put forth in front of everybody and have them appreciated. So I feel school should turn into this open environment of just exploration and development, of course with some guidelines and a couple boundaries. It's like you can't do everything, and there's reasons for that. I mean, it's not like you're going to be able to like build a spaceship in in elementary school. That's just impossible and impractical given the resources. But it comes down to being resourceful. If you're a resourceful person, you'll figure out a solution no matter where you go, no matter under what circumstances you have on you. So it's like a practical method of being adaptive, and I guess it all comes back to Slither.io, because this is definitely one of the most adaptive games I've seen and played, because they have created such a concept where you can essentially play this anywhere you go and give the user individual the ability to play at basically any time on any platform and interact with a whole bunch of other people. I'm really curious to figure out the source code behind this game and see what type of implementations that these type of games can give to the rest of the world. I mean, Minecraft in itself is like a fascinating thing to me, because it's a never-ending regenerative game where you can continuously go in a specific direction and develop your map, And I've thought about this for a long time, and it's one of the most powerful concepts that I've seen in implemented into a game design structure. Because if you could take that idea and basically put down a whole practical set of applications that give the user an ability to progress throughout a map and interact with their physical location, but create a platform where you can actively develop software, create your own programming languages within this place, and have it be accessible through any device that's connected to the internet, giving people the ability to not only play and learn and explore computer science, actually create full business ideas and become eventually profitable through just learning and playing every day. That would be a dream. That would be one of the most moving and fundamental things that I see happening between the game environments and social media, all interconnecting and interacting together. It's going to be one of the most developing fields in the future, for my perception. All right, well, so going throughout this journey, it's a descriptive one, and I've been thinking about creating a podcast quite a lot lately, and talking about ultimate human performance, flow states, and the ability to acquire the mindset to accomplish anything you want in life. And this is something that's very powerful. This is one of the most powerful things you could actually possess in your repertoire of knowledge. It's being ultimately resourceful and confident that you will be able to accomplish anything at a given time just by perceiving that you can do it. And the thoughts of perception are so powerful, because I mean, there are people like Steve Jobs who believe that they will change the world through the way that they interact with computers, people, and the mix between. And this is user experience. And I ultimately believe that with the notion that all ideas compete, and the leverage that computer science and computer software gives you is fundamentally fascinating. And the developments with Google and Google Voice have been really, really profound. And it goes to say that in a short period of time, we're going to be able to see programming languages evolve into geometric forms that you could drag and drop and stack together almost as if as Legos. I mean, MIT has done this with the App Inventor, and there's already voice programming available by this man called Travis Rudd, where he takes Dragon, naturally speaking, a software program that allows to recognize your voice and give you the ability to essentially write by speaking. From there, you can hack into Dragon through Python and just edit some of the Python code to basically implement your speech into an Emacs editor or similar, or Vim, either or, because this will give you the ability to essentially speak in your own language and give people like effective work results without even typing on a keyboard. And I think that's one of the coolest things, because the ability to use your voice and communicate your ideas is one of the most powerful things you could do in your life. It's a concentration of your ideas into a physical dimension of sound, and this sound will reverberate throughout your conscious body. Your being will actually change when you start to believe the things you say and give people application behind what you say through showing the method of how you do it. So, for example, whenever I create videos like this, I show people how they can actually make the videos themselves as well, and communicate their ideas and distribute knowledge across the internet as well. So it goes to say that we're living in a really advanced time with the Moore's law reaching an exponential curve. It's ultimately really interesting to see how humanity is going to evolve between 2016 into 2020. And I mean, these numbers might seem a little vague and random, but I truly think that at the rate of our growth in technology, we are seeing and approaching a singularity of consciousness embedded into a digital recognition system, where we're approaching the level that our data storage capabilities are vast and very capable of storing entire lives between like genetic code and actual physical experience. And it's incredible that the fact that human beings can actually sequence the genetic code and in a way edit the source code that composes your actual like physical human body. And there's this fascinating company called CRISPR where they're actively editing and taking out parts of genetic code that they don't need or don't want. But I guess it's a risky gamble, because you're poking and prodding like the things that compose like the actual human structure. And I mean, doing this for ultimate human performance is essentially like biohacking to the highest level. And biohacking in itself is a really fascinating topic, because it's a way of leveraging your mind and body into being more effective at any given moment. You can, in a sense, in a flow state, you can do things you wouldn't be able to normally do. And this is because of the physiology that your body goes through in these moments, where your mind and your body are at a higher voltage. Your muscles become more responsive through the neurochemicals that get secreted in these experiences. I mean, there's a lot of triggers to them. I mean, there's meditation, yoga, and there's just surfing, there's snowboarding, where people are doing these incredible things like jumping hundreds of feet across mountains of snow to, in a sense, attain these flow states, because they're ultimately the most addictive, most fulfilling states of body and mind that could ever be accomplished. So it's really fascinating how learning and sports and science and augmented reality, how all these topics I feel are really merging together to accomplish what's never been done before. And that's elevated rates of education for the entire populace. And in doing this at a low cost and effective way will increase the standard of living of human beings for the rest of their lives. If you can educate someone on how to do something a little bit better, you're in fact helping them achieve what they're trying to do at a faster rate. And if you give them the tools and the application behind why and where you can accomplish these things. For example, it's like the books within a library are so powerful, yet they're not accessed because people are just actively embedded within their phones. And I mean, I have a lot of books myself, and I find myself reading only occasionally because it's not the most immersive experience, but the content is still so prevalent and so, information rich. It's condensed, presentable knowledge in a repertoire of experience from someone's life, and it's like one of the best investments you can make is to like read a book and educate yourself. However, a lot of people in our society are not doing this because they just don't have the dedication to fulfill this type of action. And my solution to that, and especially if you're active, is to listen to audiobooks. And what I do is I listen to audiobooks and podcasts when I run. And it gives this like essential duality to absorbing the experience and processing the content for your mind to actually be fully engaged in said content. So it's a really cool, fascinating thing to do because you're learning at a faster rate and you're giving your body the ability to not only exercise but see these ideas actively occur within reality. You can see the developments of leadership when you walk down the street. I mean, leadership is one of the most fundamental things to so many parts of our lives, yet it's not given the full attention it deserves. Because, well, I mean, to give a leader credit is to essentially follow them for a certain period of time, and every follower knows their potential in becoming a leader. But what stands in their way is the effectiveness of their communication. So when a follower really wants to become a leader, they have to stand out of the crowd, and they have to present themselves in such a way that they can be understood. So for me, I see this ability to communicate my ideas effectively across a large platform of media and a huge asset of distribution that's going to continue with me for the rest of my life. So I'm in a sense providing people a portfolio of important information across the internet, accessible at any point in time, while also providing them products and services that I get paid and rendered for. So that's one of my goals, is to develop my leadership skills, influence people, and continue down this path of self-development, success, and interpersonal belief that I can succeed no matter where I go, what I do, make money from the actions I have, and actually leverage my knowledge into other people's lives, giving them the ability to also become successful, independent entrepreneurs for the rest of their lives. Because it's such an important thing to empower someone. Because when you empower someone, you're helping society and you're helping yourself become more adaptable and presentable for the rest of your life as well. So doing these things is fundamentally important. Studying leadership gives people a definite purpose in life. For me, I find that listening to podcasts about leadership is one of the most fundamental things I've done to acquire some new ideas. But the effective planning that has to go to actually fully implement these ideas is difficult. And this is discipline. You know, you have to continuously practice your craft in order to succeed. If you don't practice, you're just going to be skimming the surface. You're going to be doing the things that everybody else can do at the same level. So in order to excel in what you do, you have to find your niche, and then you have to rock it. You have to be so good at your niche that you will literally become the solution for everybody else. And that's ultimately like a startup idea on fire. So I really propose taking your ideas down and concentrating them into presentable elements that gives people a ability to reference and see your growth over a period of time across the internet. Because when they see you're growing, they'll be more likely to interact with you and develop these communications and give people a reference to you because you have the information they need. And it could be a variety of things. I mean, you could go from repairing a car and creating a YouTube channel to running a full-blown automotive repair business. And I mean, there's so many avenues to leverage your ideas, and the crowdsourcing you could actually do with some of these ideas is mind-blowing. You could change the world overnight, it seems. So effective execution of critically well thought out ideas is the way to change the world. Presenting them with a quality level of leadership is, I feel, one of the most important things you could do for your startup. So to wrap things up, I think that embedding yourself into new experiences that give you flow states and asking the right questions at the right time will not only change your life, but it will change your world. The world that you live in and the world that your kids will know. So do yourself a favor and ask yourself today, what is it that I really want to accomplish? What is it that would really fulfill my destiny and give me purpose, while also giving other people informative content on how they can also do it as well? So think about that. And let me know about your thoughts and responses on this idea. Feel free to post them in the comment section below. And I'll be able to throw in a couple links about flow states at the bottom. But like I said, keep on thinking and keep on growing, because this world is all about development, growth, and change. As Heraclitus once said, you could never step into the same river twice, and you won't be the same man when you do. So on that note, take care, my friends, and